How's it, everybody?
Hello, hello.
How you doing?
Fine, thanks, and you?
I'm fantastic, thank you.
Hello.
How's it? How's it? How's Esther?
Hello, I'm as
How's,
usual on my phone.
that's all good. That's all good. So Chantal, I see you were coming tech savvy. Send me a connection invite.
Oh,
And she won a prize. Chantel won a prize.
What prize did you win?
Lisa is going to make me a profile
Banner.
background page for my LinkedIn.
Fantastic. There
Yes.
you go.
So I'm excited to see that.
Very good. Very good. Okay, we'll talk about that now. I know we've got one or two that have said they can't come, but I'm expecting a few more. So let's give them a couple of moments and let's just see what's up. Maybe you guys are the diehards. I must say that running two of these groups at the moment. So you guys have got your own one, and then there's another one on yesterday, or always on the Wednesday. And I must say they've surprised me quite a lot. I've been quite amazed because normally by now, like this is where the people start falling off. But I'm getting more adding. They're not falling off. The thing is growing, which is quite nice. So, all right, I'm not sure about us. Do any of you know from anybody? The only one I know is Bianca. I don't know if anybody else is not coming. Any of you aware of anything?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Let me just do a quick check of the emails. The problem with me is I've got like 4 or 5 email addresses for all sorts of different reasons. So I often get myself into trouble where I check the wrong one. Someone says, "Oh, I sent you an email." I say, "Oh, I checked," and then I think, "Oh, I didn't check the right one." Okay, it's not that. Let's try one last. Let's try the. Nope. Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm late.
Hi.
How's it? There we
Somebody
go.
arrived as I'm literally trying to open the Zoom.
Obviously, when else would they arrive?
Exactly.
So,
So to get rid of them like ASAP.
how's it, Jared?
Hey, all right, thanks.
Jared's in the dark.
Good.
Jared, walk in the light.
Yeah, you're in the dark. What sort of electrician are you, Jared? Come on, man. Well, while you work out how to get yourself into the light, let me do a quick recap. Let's actually move this to another screen.
Yeah.
Right. So let's just start quick whole recap here. So remember, week 1, we picked a niche, hopefully. So that's that group of people that have a very similar set of characteristics that are most likely to buy our stuff. Then we went and we built out our magic message. This is probably the most important thing because like literally everything we do from here supports this idea. So that if I could give you a result you 100% really want, In other words, the big problem that you solve in a specified amount of time while eliminating an objection. Would you be interested? So it doesn't have to necessarily be in this particular structure, but at least it gives you something to think about. But you know that scenario when you're stuck in the lift and you've got like 30 seconds to talk to somebody before you get out. What's it that you're going to say? Well, this would be that, is the little USP or the value proposition. As long as you know this, you're in quite good shape. So that was week 2. And then we spoke about the banner and the profile picture, right? So the banner having a visual piece and then some stuff that you can put on top. So the visual piece hopefully reflecting somehow, what it is you do. Unless you have a clear banner, then you need to obviously put something on top image-wise that represents that. And so there's the various options that we spoke about, and everybody can do their own thing. Of course, I'm a really, really big fan at some point of just putting that little bit of text on the banner to orientate people so they know they're in the right place. You'll find that that's probably one of the best things that you can actually do. Then last week we started looking at the about section, and we spoke about the opening hook and the value prop, which we'll look at now. So just to remind you about where we're at and what we're doing. So it's this section over here, and remember that it's very similar to the about section on the website. Did I show you guys? I think I might have told you that I did that presentation for the guys at Intuit. Did I actually show it to you? Let me show this to you quickly, because you'll let's just give me a second. Hang on, I've lost it because it opened behind my Zoom, which doesn't. This is a really interesting way to look at your LinkedIn profile. So I did this presentation for Intuit. They ran QuickBooks, and this is their particular piece of software. So I don't know how well this went down, but nonetheless, what I've got here on the left-hand side is their very expensive website, which I am sure they have spent millions of dollars on, right? Because that's the stupid thing that corporates do. Then there's the rest of us. We have this free little LinkedIn profile on the right. So I was basically saying, look, your website has a banner, right? Sure. And generally the banner is going to have some sort of image which is reflective of what you do. Well, guess what? We have a banner also. All right. So you've got a logo. Okay. Well, we also have a logo. It's known as our profile picture. The next thing is generally every site's going to have that big, hard-hitting orientation statement, and we'll let you know that you're in the right place. Well, we've got that as well on our banner, but we also have a magic message, right? So we've actually got 2 places that we can show this, but our magic message is perhaps more magic than theirs because it gets found in more places. Then of course there's contact details, which we have contact details, like you can list any contact detail you want under the sun. Then they've got their about section, right? And we have an about section. So same thing there. The one thing that's not quite as obvious a comparison is the products and services page. On LinkedIn, the way that we reflect that is actually in our experience section. So you'll see this a little later when we're done with the about section. And the experience section is kind of like the money page. So that's the point that people are thinking, all right, I like everything else that I've seen. I think I'm ready to do business with you. Can you solve my actual problem, right? And that's what this is. There's also a few things that we can do on our LinkedIn profile that you can't do. So again, here's a bit more of a comparison. So websites will have a blog. That's nice. Well, we can post stuff. We can have articles, videos, all sorts of things. So we've essentially got our own little blog and a feed that runs. websites often and big companies, they want to have these lead magnets so they can build their email list. Well, that's fine. We've got a featured section, which also we can take you anywhere that we like. So we can certainly use lead magnets on LinkedIn. They like to email people and often have newsletters. Well, that's cool because we have a direct message. And we also have a newsletter facility, and your emails, some of them probably go into spam. None of ours do. 100% of them get delivered. Oh, and we have a database of 1 billion people, and in South Africa we've got a database of 12 million. So that's why our system is better than yours. So when you look at LinkedIn like this and you start to understand the layout, right? This is not an accident. So that's why you see this about section is really high up in terms of where it's positioned, because as we said, if we get back out of this now, as we said when we're looking at this, when people go, and this is now website analysis across the world, when they go to a website, the first free choice that they have, so most people obviously type in the URL of the company they're looking for, but once they've got there, maybe they'll potter around on the homepage. But the first free choice, and that free choice could be to close the website, go somewhere else, click any of these links. They click the About section. Right? So because LinkedIn understands this, and because they're looking at website best practice around the world, that's what they've done is they've taken all the best bits and they've incorporated it into this little one-page template that they give us. And obviously now we sort of have this template canvas, if you like, that we get to populate. But that's why it's so high up, right? And that's why it's so important. And it does exactly the same job, you know, which obviously is to be all about your clients and not really all about you. So that is, oops, sorry, I didn't quite mean to get out of it just there. So this is now where we're at for today. So we've done the opening hook and the value prop, and we're going to get into the why story in just a bit. Okay, so before I do that, however, I'm going to dive out of this and let's pop through the homework and see what's what. So Lisa, you are first on my screen. So you are the lucky or the unlucky recipient. If you want to share screens, let me just give you an opportunity to do that. How did you go with your hook and your value prop statement? You will need to be off unmute or off mute, I mean.
Sorry about that.
There we
Do
go.
I need to share screen or can I just read the write-up?
Share screen if you can. I think it's always cool if people can see. Whether you've done it on a piece of paper or it's actually on your LinkedIn profile, doesn't really matter.
Okay, let me just see here.
A piece of paper, listen to me. A Word document or a Google Sheet. I mean,
Let me just see, where is this button? Share. Let me go there. Can you see?
we can now.
I'll just make it bigger so I can see.
I was going to say, like, you need to make that bigger for the blind guy. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so I didn't quite get to the 2,600 characters. I think, what did I end on? 1,780. So I suppose I can add on to this a little bit.
Don't you worry, I'm not done yet. So hang on. Like, refresh that page. Get out of there. I want to see before the see more button. I just want to see how much you got. And that's all I care about today. I'm not worried about the rest of the stuff. So just refresh the page. Just refresh the page so it reloads.
Okay.
F5 will do that for you as well.
Just minimize all this. Where did it go? Okay. So what do you want to see?
I want you to go back to your LinkedIn profile.
Where did it go?
You are a magician. You made it disappear. Yeah. Okay. So just I want to see that. If you could just don't click anything, just make it. No, don't click that button.
I haven't clicked.
Okay. So if you can make that bigger, so the blind guy can see, then we'll have a look at it. Okay. So want to be oh, I want to be. Geez, you can see you clearly had to make it bigger for me. So I have to.
Okay. So
okay. Yeah, read it to us. Tell us what's going on there.
Okay, so wife to a badass biker turned dad, mom to two gorgeous girls, a human mom to two rescue cats and two border collie pups, I'm a passionate business owner who lives for creative challenges. As the founder of the Marketing Designer & Co., I specialize in cutting through the noise to find what truly matters in marketing, creating genuine connections that drive results. With a focus on strategy planning and top-notch design, I help brands, and then it says see more.
Yes, like there's a lot going on there, eh? But actually a lot of good ideas there, to be quite honest. If it wasn't so dense, it would be perfect. So let me ask you a question. So remember we're saying that you want to have a hook before you sort of lead into your value prop. What would your hook be? Would it be as you have it there? Well, after that as Mike to dad, mom, and two gorgeous girls.
Yeah, so it's a weird one for me, because what's happened somehow is we've crafted quite a like we have a specific language for my company that like people see the photo, they see all the corporate, and then they read those first sentences and they go like, hey, wait, what? And then they continue reading. And I've had so many people reach out to me and they're like, I absolutely loved your bio and that's why I'm getting in touch. And then they go and look at the website and there's a similar sort of language happening there. It's kind of like we're also known to drop the fuck bomb every now and then in between our copy. So it is that it's a little bit of a, I suppose, a shocker, but it works for us and it works for our vibe. And it's not meant in an offensive way, but it gets my people's attention, if that makes sense. So it's not for everyone, but somehow it has been working for me. So I try and keep that going when we write things a little bit. But I'm very aware of how much of it I do so that it doesn't become too salesy, and because everything that I'm saying is the truth. It's, you know, it's not. So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one, and I'm very hesitant to drop it because I've had luck with it.
I wouldn't drop it at all for all the reasons you just said. I was simply asking the question for the benefit of everybody else to see what your thinking is. Probably the only thing I would say to you. Let me take the screen back just for a sec. I'll give it back to you in a minute. I want to show you something.
But I do see what you're saying about maybe which parts I put where.
Let me show you something here. Probably just need to get a new. Let me just open LinkedIn here quickly. I want to show you something that you just want to bear in mind. Don't worry about how to do this just yet, right? At the moment, we're doing. We'll worry about how later. So, when you get into looking at this, right? This is as small as I can really make it. So this is I'm trying to approximate as closely as I can what's going on with if you were to view this on a mobile. So the reality is, right, that actually about 60% plus of people will actually view your LinkedIn profile on a mobile page, right? So I'm quite big on this. I'll teach you how to do all of this. Do not stress, right? So I quite like this idea of being able to scroll. So typically what used to be an entire paragraph has now become a sentence. And it's just because it's easy to read, right? So that makes a big difference. And I find also particularly, and sorry, let me just also refresh this. Again, let's see if this will work. So now if one pops up and gets to the about section, if this was proper mobile, the actual see more button would show. But you kind of have a look at this. That's really all you can see. And I almost would have liked to have had an additional space, but I can't. I can't see the see more button. But if you look at it this way, you'll see that you've got this first bit, and then we're obviously trying to make it a little bit easier to read. What I would say, just coming back to what you've got at the moment, there's a lot going on, and I was amazed actually at how much we got to see before they made you click the see more button. You actually got a heck of a lot there, but it's quite difficult to read.
Yeah, I see now. I'm looking at it on my cell phone as well,
Yeah.
and I'm cutting it off. It's cutting off before, so I'm wasting too much time.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I need to put the more important stuff first and just realign a little bit.
But like the more important stuff, right? I don't get your hook at all. It's not necessarily everyone's cup of tea, but as you say, it works for you. So here we are, I lost my audit practice because I didn't know how to generate clients. Stick with the badass biker thing. That's cool. There's a little bit about you, and exactly what you said is what we're trying to do here. Is we're just trying to get them to stop the damn scroll. I don't care how they do it. And as you say, if it's like what, that's great. We've achieved the goal. What I would say though is take the rest of the opportunity. And again, looking on your phone and judging as you're saying, just to hit your key value prop, whatever that is, and just try to sneak it in there. And typically, and it may or may not work for you because your hook is a little bit more, is perhaps a little different to most people. But if you can, like what I did here, where I'm saying I lost my practice because I didn't know how to generate clients, and then I use this as a springboard. That's why, because of that, this happened, kind of thing. And then I move into today. I help accountants and financial advisors to generate their own leads and clients every month from LinkedIn without paying for content, ads, etc. So that's quite cool. So let me give this back to you. So share again. Let's just have another quick look and let's see if we can.
Do I click on the see more button? No.
No, don't click on it, but you need to share first because I unshared you earlier.
Okay, let me just find it again here. Hold on 1 second. Where's the button?
Just while she's looking for that, I really like I like that she's quite clear on her communication style and what she's going to say to people. And you guys should be the same. Like you can see she's not even averse to dropping the odd F-bomb here and there. I'm not saying you should do it, but she does it because that's the persona that they've created and it works for them. So you must always do you. And what she was saying to you, if you were really listening, is that no, but my clients resonate with it. They're the only people that actually matter. Like even if you read this and you think, oh, that's terrible, that nobody cares. We don't care, right? What we care about, or what she cares about, is that her clients or her prospects and potential clients are going to resonate with that. That's all that matters. Okay.
I think what makes it also difficult sometimes is that, like, I try to be very true to our personalities and yes, our ideal clients, but we've got to write it in such a way that we also don't offend the general public. So that's why I'm saying it is difficult because not all of my clients are like that and not all of them will resonate with it. But again, this is very much finding the ideal one. So it's specific to that.
You'll see, and even when we talk about today's session, which is about story, ideal clients resonate with this stuff. It's like this is the bit that actually differentiates you. But you're right. That is also quite true, and sometimes it gets a little bit tricky. And you'll find the people that really do the best are people that don't really care about polarizing. I mean, that doesn't mean you should go out of your way to do it, like some people. So yeah, be conscious of it. But if you can at least put that little bit of your personality in there, you can. So for example, you're not putting an F-bomb in here, but there's, listen, wife to badass biker. Like you read that as like what? As you say, you're already in there, which is quite nice. So you've got a lot there, right? In your hook, you may or may not want to leave that there. So
I can simplify it. I do see what you.
So I chop out a piece. Scroll up quickly. What's your magic message? Business owner, marketing strategist.
Business owner, marketing strategist, design enthusiast, educating business owners on design and marketing to make smart choices, simplify the processes with professional insights, discover more.
Yeah, if you're happy and you feel you've nailed that value prop, nothing really stops you using it again. So often what I'll do is you chose not to go with with asking the question. But often if you're asking the question, hey, if I could do this, would you be interested? If you just chop off the, hey, if I could do this, would you be interested? The actual value proposition's in the middle. So you could almost lift what you've got there. Maybe you paraphrase it slightly differently, and you probably have actually. You could pop something in there and you could have something that's really, really cool. So, all right, I will leave that with you to ponder.
Okay. So the rest
So-
I'll just sort out.
The rest coming. We're doing that.
Oh.
Relax. You don't have to
Oh.
do.
I thought you
Ray
could
was
do the
not
whole
built in a
thing
day.
today. Sorry.
No, not the whole thing. That's just about section. Anyway, we'll give you a naughty badge and maybe you're off for the next week. I don't know. We'll see.
I might change it between now and then.
I'm sure you will change a lot of things between now and the end, and that's perfect. I mean, that's the whole point. As we go through this. So, the man in the dark. We know you there. You think we can't see you, but we can. Jared, it's your turn.
I'm searching for the man in the mirror. Yeah, they stole power again, yeah, but so my inverter is busy working overtime.
I was
Okay,
going to say, Jared, don't think
Mm.
about a singing career. See,
I'll try not to.
if electrician doesn't work out for you, don't think about a singing
No, but
career.
I'm starting to wonder now. The electricians left in the dark. So
You know.
Not a great advert, eh? No, shocking business. Shocking business, Jared.
Okay, well,
Short circuit business. Okay,
Uh,
back to your LinkedIn profile.
I'm not as what's named as what Lisa and everybody is with their wording and all of that. So I'm still busy trying to edit and do that on my PC and phone. But I have come up with something. I'm a partner, a father, and a friend. But most of all, I'm a guidance counselor to most.
You've gone silent. You muted yourself somehow.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. Okay, let's try this again. I'm a partner, a father, and a friend. I'm a partner, a father, and a friend, and a guidance guru to most of my friends. I believe in keeping everybody happy. Happy is my goal. Where am I now? I believe in safety on all things. So if you want to know on how to make sure your property is safely connected, give me a call.
No. you gotta get back to the drawing board. So let me take you back. Hang on a second. I was gonna go back to last week's training. Give me a minute while I just pull that out.
Unfortunately, last week I was sick, so I did miss quite a bit on it last week.
Yeah,
So that's naughty on my part.
Yeah, but that's why I'm just popping back for you. Geez, hang on a second. You know this thing.
Jared, you know, we've got the recording. You can listen to the recording.
Yeah, are you aware of that, Jared?
Yes.
There is I put everything into the cloud for you. Not into the cloud. On a web page for you guys.
Okay.
So if you miss anything, you can always go back. If I could just find my Zoom again, that would be amazing. So last week, when we did this, here's the here are the examples, right? So what you want to do is you want to take these examples and then create a hook, right? So a couple of different ideas for you. You can obviously come up with something that's unique, but this is a really good way to come up with something. And what you're trying to do with this literally is just to get them to stop and pay attention. So this template would be stating a relevant pain point, right? That your niche, that you help your niche to solve. So, for example, I might have said something along the lines of legislation is making it harder to generate leads and clients these days. This is true, and I also know that it really is a pain point for financial advisors, for example, because they used to phone every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Now you can't. Now they're a bit stuck. They don't know what to do. Okay. The next thing that you could do is you could have a startling statistic or industry trend. That might work quite well for you, Jared. Something here, I think you could probably find something that's a little bit scary or interesting that gets people to focus. So you'd have a startling statistic relevant to your industry or your niche or the problem that you help them solve. So I might say something like LinkedIn has over 1 billion members, including more of your ideal clients than you can service in a lifetime. And I say that because a lot of times when I speak to people, they're like absolutely amazed when I just give them a few basic stats and say, geez, I didn't realize that about LinkedIn. I didn't know you could get clients on LinkedIn. You know, so this is just opening people's eyes, or then something interesting about you, right? Which is kind of what Lisha did, you know. So I said, well, I lost my audit practice because I didn't know how to generate clients. I did this as well because, much like Nisha is saying, it's a little bit contrary to what you might be expecting. Because everything up until now is, are you supposed to be the oak that knows how to get clients? Yet, this is how I start, right? There's definitely an interest there. It's like, okay, that's interesting. How did you do that? Let me know more. So try to use maybe this as a little bit of guidance, and that should really help you to kick things off. So that was the first part, and then you'll see here, like in this example, I say I lost my audit practice because I didn't know how to generate clients. So that's me trying to stop the scroll. And then really what I've done is I've sort of gone back. Like if you look at this, right? Here's my magic message. If I could give you a minimum of 2 new clients a month from LinkedIn every month, this is an older one. The new one is without paying for advertising. Would you be interested? So I haven't gone and messed around with this, but I've still asked the question. And then when I've got here, I've just said that's why today, and I'm basically repeating that in a different way. I help accountants and financial advisors to generate their own leads and clients every month from LinkedIn without posting content, paying for ads, and buying appointments. So this doesn't look weird now, right? This looks like it flows. Hey, I lost my practice. That's why I now help people make sure it doesn't happen to them. That's the gist of this message. So if you do something like that, that tends to be quite effective. Okay, so let's pull this back. So we are going to send you back to do some homework, and then you can give that another go. But yeah, that's the process. Does that help? He's really in the dark now. Okay, now he's back. Sorry, you're on mute, Jared.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I don't mean to be rude in that, but yeah, as I know, I'm using my inverter, so my things keep on jumping up and down.
All right, you can jump off screen. Stop sharing your camera, maybe if you're struggling. Then we could go. All right, cool. Thanks, Jared. Mel, you're up.
Hello. Okay,
How's
so mine, if my screen would share, that would be great. Okay, so here is mine, and this is what it says. So remember I mentioned last week about a personal story, so that's mine. And I like just that because hopefully if you resonate with that, then you'll click more. So driven by my mom's own decades-long struggle with sleep and her reliance on prescription medication, I was propelled into a quest for natural, effective solutions to support her journey to wellness. This personal mission opened a whole new world rich with possibilities and set me on a new life path, helping hundreds to a better night's sleep.
Yeah, it's way better than, hey, if you can't sleep, I can help you to do that. So that's quite incredible. A lot of people don't manage to do that, but you've already dealt with today's exercise in your in your hook. So yeah, I definitely like that. It's something that is completely different, and it's very congruent with everything else. So I think that actually works quite well. Not a whole lot to add, to be honest. It does what it's intended to do.
Thank
Cool.
you.
All right, Chantal.
How am I supposed to compete against Mel? Mel is perfect.
There's no competing.
That was now perfect.
There's no competing. Yeah, it's just everybody's a little bit different. Mel was perfect for what she does. You need to be perfect for what you do. That's all that matters.
All right.
And you've got a whole truckload of strengths that I don't have. PS. Hello.
Screen.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. I'm going to share screen now.
Huh?
Oh, that one there. Share. I'm at the right place.
You are. Oh, look at that. Okay.
Figure it out.
Wait, go back up again. I sell or rent a property. Yeah, no confusion. Cool. Okay.
Okay. I help sellers and investment owners to sell or rent out their property by putting the client first and taking their needs into consideration. By using my services, I will arrange viewing times that fit owners' schedules and give constant feedback so they are always aware of what's happening with their property. To see more, there's like lots of other just extra jargon, blah, 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 you know?
Okay.
It's not important. It's just filling the gaps.
Yeah, so everything you need is in there. You might tweak the wording a little bit, but actually it does what it's supposed to do, I think. Help sellers and investment owners. That's a little bit different. Investment owners to sell or rent out their property by putting the client first and taking their needs into consideration. That yes and no. I'm kind of on the fence a little bit on that second part.
Let's take that
but
out completely.
no. I'm talking through it. Don't do anything yet. You may hate what I'm saying, and we'll get feedback from other people. They may hate what I'm saying as well. You know what? There's no right or wrong way to do this. And we all do it in a way that sort of suits our personality and that we feel comfortable with. Really, what you're wanting to do, understanding that you've got that really short window before the see more, because you want to put like your absolute best forward, right? So when you say I help sellers and investment owners to sell or rent out their property, that part now I understand. I might care sort of about by the client person taking their needs into consideration. That's a real marketing selling piece. Like it doesn't add to the message, I don't think, in this case. The second piece maybe more so, right? Arrange viewing times that fit the owner's schedule. Now I'm starting to see some benefit in there. Okay, that makes sense. Give constant feedback, so you're always aware of what's happening with their property. Just refresh your page. I can't remember how far you got with that. Okay, you pretty much got all the way in. Does anyone else have any comments? Because that does actually kind of work. I might make it.
This
I've got
section,
a suggestion.
this section is what was my words. The second paragraph was chat GPT, whatever. So just so you
Oh, you're adorable. You're adorable.
that was my words. I just put my words in first.
Your words are powerful.
Which
May I
which
make a suggestion?
yeah.
Chantel, I think you short-circuiting what you do, to be honest. So if you go to the top section, if you go up in your page, and it's just a suggestion, if you go just up to your value proposition. Okay, so you go wanting to sell or rent out your home, give me a call. I mean, literally there's tens of thousands of people who do that. So my suggestion, and again, if it resonates, great. If it doesn't, then it's thing. But if I could help you rent out your property and generate an income without the headache of dealing with tenants or stressing about collecting money, would you be interested? Now, as a landlord, I would like, yes, please. You know, because you're actually solving a problem, and that goes back to probably week one. So you do so much more than just selling or renting a home. You actually take the hassle out. You take the stress. You take all the yuck out of the situation for the landlord. And I think that's a massive thing, because authentically you care. And I don't think you're putting that in enough. You know, technically that's what you do. Yes, you rent or sell a home, but you do so much more. So I personally think that you could put a little bit more of yourself in there. Just a comment.
Okay.
What do you do more of, rent or
I
sell?
have coffee with one of my tenants because she's a lonely elderly lady with no family that visits her.
Why did you say that now?
Because what Val just said now, I didn't realize what I do, and that came to mind. It's like, but I do help people a little more than actually just real estate. I do, but I don't think about it until Val just mentioned it now.
Do you
Yeah.
yeah. Do you sell
Sorry,
more
Jay.
or do you rent more properties?
I'm currently more in rentals, slowly moving on to sales. I sell very few properties, but we're going to change that.
Okay, so the question for me always is like, if in business it's actually quite simple. I'm not saying it's easy, I'm just saying it's simple. So if you can solve a big burning problem for somebody, then you make money. I know that sounds like revolutionary, but you'll be amazed at how many people don't solve a big burning problem. They come up with something and they solve they solve a so-so problem, and therefore you get, you know, so solutions. So the question you're going to ask yourself is in your space, because it's you're fighting now a little bit, right? You're fighting because now you've got sell versus rent. Those are two different things. It's two different clients. This is where you've taken the easy way out. If you want to rent or sell your home, give me a call. But maybe you can be a little bit more forceful. Maybe you pick one or the other, or you expand on, as Mel was saying, a little bit more of what you do. But I think you certainly can be more forceful. So the question is, what's the big problem you're solving? Because that's how you get people to give you a call, as opposed to somebody else. Like, is there something unique that you do in you know, in the process, in the space, etc. Like you were saying, well, or as Mel was saying, you take the complete hassle out of it. If you let people know that, it and it's funny because it's exactly the same thing. You know, if you want to rent rent out or sell your home, but if you're being a little bit more specific and a person's going through that, it's just going to be in their minds, and then they read it and it's the same thing, but it's said a little bit different, and they're thinking, that's exactly what I need. Yeah, okay, let me speak to her. So you know, again, the question there is how. What is the biggest? Well, let me ask you, what's the biggest problem you solve? What is the most
Exactly what
painful
Mel
thing?
said. I take the hassle off of the owner's hands. I deal with all the crap.
Okay, so say that. Maybe not the crap,
Right.
but the rest
Crap.
of it. And you know, kind of similar to what we're talking about now. So scroll down a bit again. Let's get back to your hook. Oh, Shivet, I need to actually move my behind. I didn't realize. I keep thinking because the other group's got an hour and a half. I'm looking at the time. I'm thinking, oh, shit. Okay, I'm gonna have to move it. I have sellers and investment owners who sell their property. So, like if you had balls, excuse the pun, you might just say, you know, I help buyers and sellers of property, or I take all that crap out of the renting and selling process, and then you get into, or maybe you use another word, but that might be how you start, and then
I
you can
deal with
come
all
in
the
and
crap that you don't feel like dealing with.
yeah, if you're happy to say that, and if not, use another word. But why not? If that's exactly what you do, and you can sort of expand, then it's starting to make sense when you talk about I'll arrange viewing times that fit your schedule, your constant feedback, etc. Then it's like, oh, okay. But it's more than that. I'll manage the whole process for you, sort of from A to Z, and then you can sort of get into the rest. All right. So let me leave it there. Sorry guys, I did not realize the time. My mind is clearly not on it today. So thank you. I'm gonna let you go work on that. I'm just gonna take the screen back for a bit. Lisa, we're gonna do you quickly.
Yeah, I'm going to be one of those bad people that didn't do their homework. And
Okay,
I
well
wasn't
then,
here last week.
all right. So okay, so
I'll,
I'm gonna leave you out then.
Okay.
In the interest of time, do that, and we'll pick up with you next week.
Okay,
That's
thank
cool.
you.
All right, Esther.
Okay, let me share. There we go. Can you see?
We can.
Okay, so this is the about section.
I remember our family got in a lot of trouble with SARS and lost everything they had to pay off the debt. This is why our small businesses run compliant businesses while that they plan for future growth. As a finance manager of a multi-million company for many years. Yeah, that's great. There's like everything you need to know is in there. Stops the scroll, tells the story. You're also a hyperachiever because you're going to cover a little bit of what we spoke about now. But yeah, perfect.
Okay,
Not
cool.
a whole lot to
The
add.
whole thing, but yeah, I won't share it now.
Okay, well let's talk. Let me pull this back. Let me talk a little bit quickly about today that I want to talk to you about, which is not that anymore. Like this. Okay, so talking about the why story. Like this is in my book, I think this is probably the most important thing you could do. And it's the hardest thing. That's why a lot of people don't do it, but it's the thing that often moves the needle with people. So when you talking to people on LinkedIn, if you think about it, you've got the chat GPTs of the world. There's been copy and paste templates around forever, and so a lot of people can just go and grab a whole bunch of stuff and create a LinkedIn template. And honestly, if people actually just tried a little bit, they could actually come out with a reasonable effort, which they could probably just like research and cut and paste. But the issue with that is that it becomes quite difficult to stand out now, right? Because with the advent of everything else that's going on, and as we said with AI and the imagery and that, people are starting to be a little bit unsure. As people start to read profiles, they're losing a little bit of the efficacy if it looks like it might just be a mass-produced profile. And so one of the best ways to create a profile that stands out is being authentic to you. So the way that I like to think about it is all of us have a story. Okay? We all have a story of how we got to wherever it is we are right now. Now that story might be dramatic like mine, or it might be very matter of fact. It's like, okay, I actually lost my practice because I didn't know how to get clients. I went out, worked out how to do it, and now that's why I help people to make sure that it doesn't happen to them again. So a very nice story from the perspective of being able to relate to people. So people in my space can say, well, if he could do it and he was in a worse space than me, he can probably help me to get the result I want, right? But there's a resonance, with that story. Other people will have a very unremarkable story. It's like, well, I decided I'd be an accountant at school. I went to varsity. I got good marks. I passed the board first time. I worked for Pricewaterhouse, and now here I am in my own business, right? Not a remarkable story, but it's irrelevant. It doesn't have to be a remarkable story. It's their story. And there's always going to be people that resonate with that story because that's how they are wired, and that's how they're driven. So whatever the story is, and however you got to wherever you are now, tell that story. Because it's going to be relevant, right? And authentically relevant to why you are A, doing what you're doing, and B, why you're doing it for the people that you're doing it for. That's really what they're looking for. So you'll see the first thing I've got here is relatability. So relatability is relatability to you. And in the story, they say picture tells 1,000 words. Well, story can tell a lot more. So people are wanting to relate to us as people, right? So not as contractors, or sleep therapists or LinkedIn gurus or accountants. No, sure, they want to know, but they want to know about who's that person? Who's the person that we deal with? What does that person look like? Do I like them? Do I think I like them? There's some sort of relatability that they're going to find when they start to read your story, because that's one of the quickest ways to bond. Is like I always say, like, let's say we haven't met each other before. We meet at a friend's house. We're going to watch the rugby. South Africa playing the All Blacks. You know, the first thing, you know, when I walk up to one of you, I might say, hey, I'm James. And then you'll introduce yourself. And then I'll say, hey, how do you know our host? And then, you know, once we've got through those pleasantries, I'll say, yes, Springbok's going to donor the All Blacks today, eh? And then the conversation has started, right? Because there's relatability there. We have something to talk about, and this is what you're doing on your profile is with your story. Some of it's subtle, some of it is more blatant. We put it out there. Is giving people that opportunity to relate to us before they've actually spoken to us. So in an interesting way, it really starts to build the relationship before the relationship actually builds from when we start talking to each other. Similar with insight, again, that's them getting insight into us. And again, when we're telling the story, part of that insight will be whether we know what we're doing, whether they can help us with the business, but we might also share other things about ourselves without having to say it. So the big one for me always is value system. So when people can kind of get a bit of a sense of who you are, you know, as a person and as a professional as well. So relatability might be more from a personal perspective. Insight, again, similar, but maybe more focused on, you know, your professional attributes. And then how relevant is it? So you're wanting to try to make the story relevant to your magic message or your LinkedIn headline. Like that's why that piece is so important, because it literally forms the cornerstone of everything. And you want to think about everything else on your profile substantiating that value proposition. Think of it as the promise that you have made, if you like, to your prospects. So all of that comes out of your story. And really, one of the best ways to do it is just to answer the why question, right? So the first question is, well, why do you do what you do? And again, as I said, a lot of us have ended up somewhere different to where we thought we would be. I see this all the time. I speak to so many people, and that's kind of cool. It really doesn't matter. I was going to be an accountant. I was an accountant, in fact, for decades. Turns out I'm not an accountant anymore, and that's okay. But there's a story, and that story is very particular to me, and in terms of what I'm doing at the moment. So the first thing that people want to know is, okay, so why do you do what you do? And then the second thing, and again, this very much is going to get to that relatability and can you help me, right? The relevance piece is okay, why have you decided specifically to solve the problem that you're solving for me? Okay, sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. So in my case, where I'm talking specifically to accountants and financial advisors, well, I was you, and I don't want what happened to me to happen to anybody else like you and me, and that's why I do it. So it's very logical. So when you are an accountant or a financial advisor and you see this, it resonates with you. So let's say I'm up against 5, 10, 50, I don't care, 100 other marketing agencies, right? Because I'm the guy who's the accountant who's walked in their shoes, they're going to look at that and say, but he understands me. I don't have to tell them that. They know that automatically. And the story, and it can be a short story, it can be a long story, is going to enable you to do that. So let's just look at this. I made this quite simple. Right? Just answer 4 questions. That's all you got to do. So the first question you want to answer is, well, how did you get into doing what you're doing now? So that's always quite an interesting story. And again, as I said, for a lot of us, it's something happened. There was a twist of fate, and here we are. Some of us decided at some point, I have an interest, and you chased the goal, and then you got there. Doesn't really matter. Just tell that story. This part, this discovery part, if nothing else for people, it's fascinating. And it starts a conversation, you know, and often that's what we want to do on LinkedIn. The next is, okay, so you bumbled into this or not? Well, okay, so why have you stayed? All right. In other words, you know, what's driving you? What's your passion? Why have you continued to do this today? Why didn't you go and do something else? Obviously, there's something about this that you're liking. Otherwise, you wouldn't continue to do it. So that's kind of the second piece. Pardon me. Sorry, this is this, but yeah. Why did you get into doing this? Sorry, before why do you continue to do it? So firstly, how did you get into it? And then there's often a why in terms of the how. You know, these two might be linked, but you know, the key question always is why. If you can answer a why question and your why resonates with their why, Like that deal is done at your LinkedIn profile level. I promise you this is true, and you will see this when you start sending out messages and you start getting responses from people. In fact, I had this very discussion because I was doing this very piece with a client of mine today, and I took him back to if you remember the first introduction I did for this, I spoke about my story. Okay, a lot of you haven't gone through my sales process, but as part of my sales process, I do a little bit of that again. And then there's some of that goes into email sequencing. And he thought back, and I said, okay, so why are you a client? And he went back and he said, yeah, those were the things that resonated. And actually, when we started to look at it, although his circumstances are different to mine, same, right? So he was a pastor. He couldn't make ends meet. He moved out into accounting. He then said, okay, there's different opportunity, got retrenched. Very similar story. And he said, all of those things resonate with me, you know, that you were in the profession, that you got retrenched, that you were able to get to the next level. Those are all the things I'm looking for. That was the story. That's why, as a client, not I'm helping him get leads on LinkedIn, right? I know that's kind of weird to think about, but I promise you, this is the most incredibly powerful stuff. And this is the one thing that nobody can duplicate. Okay, ChatGPT cannot make another you, hard as it tries. So this is awesome. And then the last thing, as I said, why have you chosen to work with that specific group of people? And again, when you're creating these answers, sometimes you might have to try to get inside their heads. It's not, you know, it's not because, well, I got there, this is what I've been doing, and here I am, right? Come up with a better reason so that when that person is looking at it and saying, geez, do I want to work with this person? Do they understand me? The answer is yes. Okay, so try to answer those 4 questions. Think a little bit about them. Don't just go and throw something on a page, and just draft a story. You don't have to do it in this order. You can mix and match. But what I would suggest is answer the 4 questions and then get down here and just write a story. There might be some other things, and you can pop some notes in here for yourself as you're going through it. If you've got different ideas and you're just brainstorming, you pop this into the additional notes and just, you know, think about your story, and then go and craft it. For now, don't worry about length. Okay, you can write 3 lines or you can write 300 lines. I don't care. Just write the story. Let's see what it looks like. So you'll see my example here. I'm just saying, so as a chartered accountant, I spent 25 years in the profession. I lost my audit practice in 2011 because neither I nor my partners had any idea how to replace major clients we lost during the recession, right? So that's actually the story. I did a story online, right? And then, so what? Okay, well, because of that, I vowed to make sure this never happened to me again or to any other accountant or financial advisor. And I've just added in a bit, which has happened subsequently. So social media and COVID have changed the way that people buy financial services. So to adapt, I published a book, right? So that's my story. That's why I deal with accountants. Like it's short and sweet, but it doesn't have to be. It's quite interesting because with my coaching clients, I have an opportunity to go a lot deeper. We spend 1 and sometimes 1.5 sessions just on constructing the story and pulling everything out and then structuring it. And so when we actually create the about section, using the story. So going back here, 1 and 2 we leave in place, and 7, right? So those 3 are constant. But what we'll do is with the story, we actually answer all 4 of these pieces. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just telling you, a story is a very powerful vehicle because you can tell the story in any way that you want to tell it, and you can incorporate anything that you want people to know in the story. And something that's really interesting about story is that everybody, when they read your story, they come from a very different frame of reference, right? People have grown up differently, you know, different financial backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, religious backgrounds. We have different views of the world, and based on all of those characteristics, when each individual person sees the story, they fill in their own gaps, and they generally tend to fill them in positively, which is quite good for us. And so give this thing a go. This thing is amazing. It often is really the difference, and you'll see later on, particularly when you start reaching out to people, if you've got good stuff in your story, that gives them the opportunity to make conversation because they found something interesting on your profile as well. So let me pull this back. All right. I know they were short and sweet. If any of you do need to go, you can. I don't need to go right now. So if anybody want to chat about anything else, this is a good time. Or if you have any questions about what I just said. I've either stunned you.
I've got a comment more than a question. Obviously, you get analytics on your LinkedIn, and I've been implementing obviously the suggestions week on week, and doing it. And I was mentioning it in the BNI meeting when I just reminded them about this session, that my analytics said that I had 38% more exposure last week. So just by changing the banner, and little by little, we're getting to that place. So it certainly, I've seen a difference.
Good.
And
Thank you.
I haven't found up a new client yet, but we're not there yet. You know what I'm saying? So that's not an expectation. But what I'm saying is I've certainly seen more happenings on my LinkedIn page. And I think as we implement week on week, and it might seem a little bit of a slow process, but just for the rest of the team, build on it week on week, and slowly but surely, this foundation that we're building now is quite important in terms of the springboard for where James is going, I believe. So I wanted to just encourage you, James, and say, we're building little by little, and maybe just one line or one picture or one whatever. But I think by the end of this, the brand is certainly going to be far stronger. So thank you. And
thanks.
Working.
Thank you. Well, thanks for that feedback. Manna sort of corroborated the process that you're going through. So what's quite interesting with LinkedIn is obviously they've got some pretty serious AI that drives the back engine here, right? So as you guys go through this process, and a little bit later on when we actually get into the process of starting to reach out to people, what you'll notice is that LinkedIn will start to get a sense of what you do. So you might think that these things that you're doing are not noticed just because a machine is noticing them more than humans, but they actually are. So LinkedIn's got a thing called an SSI score, social selling index, and it ranks all sorts of things in the background, right? So every time something happens, it's kind of like it's another little sign to the algorithm that this person is starting to play the game. And the higher you get up the rankings, the more love that LinkedIn is going to give you. So what Mel might have been seeing, just as an example, is okay, LinkedIn is starting to get a bit of a sense of the profile. So it's starting to adjust the people that it recommends. So you might not see this, but in their feeds, your recommendation is going to come up because it's starting to see this. And it's not just because you change the profile, it's because there's some activity there, right? And you'll see this particularly as we step it up a little bit later and you start doing outreach, right? Because outreach is the social selling index has got 4 parts to it. You guys are probably all, or most of you are probably a bit sucky in the outreach at the moment. So you've got a full quarter of the improvement that you can make, right? And so all of this stuff is gonna stack, and over time you'll find you have amazing incremental gains that you hadn't even anticipated that come through the process. But yeah, it is very cool, and the more you focus, right, and the more you're very specific about the stuff that you do, LinkedIn's algorithm is quite intelligent. Now, for me, I'm always dealing with different people, so I'll go into all sorts of stuff. So I've kind of screwed my own algorithm up. But for each individual person, right, like Chantal, if you are just dealing with buyers and sellers of property, like LinkedIn will work that out eventually, and it'll start to give you just those people and to recommend you to just those people. And then you'll see the recommendations LinkedIn starts to make are better and better and better. So it's quite a complex little machine that sits behind this simple little one-page website that we call LinkedIn. But it's very cool. Anyone else have questions or anything you want to ask?
No, I think maybe what I'm going to have to do is I think I'm going to have to link up with Leisha sometime next week so she can help me with some of my stuff on LinkedIn. Because I think I've got the gist of it, but yeah, that's just me.
So what I would say is if you go onto the website, right, where I've put everything, like I've just put the videos on YouTube, so it's easy to scroll through. So you know the format, right? I'm basically we're gonna go through it. So this whole purpose of us doing the feedback is kind of cool. It's a part of it is learning from each other, and the other part, which is more my goal perhaps than yours, but should be yours to a lesser degree, is you getting to know each other. Now, this is an unfair advantage you have, but the other group is working quite well, where I've taken a disparate group of people and they're starting to get to understand each other. And what I'm starting to see in those groups as well, or that group I should say, is that the different participants are actually starting to get involved and are starting to comment, and I'm starting to see the relationship build. You guys have maybe taken that a bit for granted because you already have it, but it's been pretty cool how that whole process is developing. So so going back to it, understanding that it's how we do it. What I would do is you can scroll fast forward because obviously there's just a little teaching piece, right? For at the end. So you can watch the teaching piece and then go to the next week. And if you want to see the feedback, then obviously watch it. But the quick down and dirty for you is just each week, just go to the piece in the video where I'm talking about it. And obviously you've got the notes. So with the notes, what I've done with them now is I've obviously incorporated the training and the homework into one set of worksheets. So by the end, if you've downloaded 12 weeks or whatever this happens to be, you've literally got the notes that you can duplicate over and over.
I think
Chantel, sorry, go, Lisha.
I think the big thing also, just to remember, maybe Jared, that might help you a little bit as well, is you've got to remember this channel is very different to Facebook and Instagram. So while you can share a little bit about your personality, this is pure business. So like a lot of what you were saying is very personal stuff. And people on here, like you're not going to post stuff about this, a picture, this is me and a cup of coffee this morning, or this is me and my son this afternoon, or this is me and my dogs, or this is not that platform. So this one, you've got to make it very corporate and have a snippet of that. So you can, by all means, put little bits of it in, but see, this LinkedIn is very different to Facebook and Instagram. And I think maybe that's where you're struggling a little bit from my, just advice from my side. So the kind of people that are going to be looking at your profile here are going to be your corporates, and very much your bigger corporates. East London is 20 years behind everywhere else. So it's not that big here yet, but it certainly is going to get there. So, it's definitely a platform to go for. But treat it as if you are if you are walking into a BNI meeting in a boardroom, this is the kind of space that you're going to be walking into because it's very much the same platform as that.
Oh, some good advice there.
And I'm just going to add, Chantel, tell James, what did you win on Tuesday?
Oh yes, Lisa's gonna make me a banner for my profile. So I'm
Well
quite
done.
excited to see that.
Good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Lisa's a design magician, so trust me, you're in good hands.
Yeah,
There
I'm
you go.
so excited.
We were all rooting for her, and it was a lucky draw.
What had happened?
And we were all like going, Chantel, and Chantel.
But I must say, it's all Lisa. She came to me and she was like, listen, it's my 10 minutes and can I do this as a war prize? And I was like, yeah, that's cool. So it's
And
all
the
Lisa.
perfect person. I love it when that happens, when the right person wins it. So we were so
There you go.
excited. We said we had to tell James.
Well done.
Yeah. Listen,
So-
I need to go. I have an appointment in Beacon Bay. Can I
Cool.
ask that you put the link back in the chat bar again, because I didn't get that.
Geez, I changed it the other day. What did I call it? Hang on.
The one you sent me.
Yeah,
Or
you think
have you changed it from there?
No, no, I don't think so. What did I call this? Yeah, of course you're not going to give it to me.
Is it not
No.
the one I just put in?
Look at
the one I
Esther. Esther
see.
is so
That's
organized.
that one.
That's the
Okay, there we go.
accountant. That's the accountant.
There we go.
Thank you, Esther.
Are you gonna share the
Pleasure.
slide deck again on the
Yeah.
on
It is
the
on
chat
there.
here?
Yeah,
It is on there.
I stick it on it. So after this, I'll download the recording, pop it on YouTube, put it up, and put the slide deck up. Yeah, I'll probably do it tonight still.
Thank you, James.
So you'll have actually soon. So just probably the last thing you may or may not be aware. I don't know. Bianca's not joining us anymore. It seems like she had quite a bit of pushback. She sent me an email, from what I understand, from her company in terms of doing this, which I found a little strange, but be that as it may. So she did send me an email to say that she's no longer joining these sessions.
Oh wow, okay.
So
That is strange, isn't it?
yeah, it's very strange.
Sorry, I missed. Who did you say is
Unexpected, though.
not
It's
joining?
corporate.
Bianca.
Corporate, yeah. Bianca.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's very strange because it's about your brand too. But anyway.
Like this, I mean, this is perfect for them. So I was like, all right, that's a little strange,
Yeah.
but be that as it may. So I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
you knew, so I thought I would just tell you in case you're wondering where is she. That's where she is.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. She can always do it personally, maybe not on business time. So I'll
Yeah,
send
that's
her.
I was figuring that might be the issue, is that they're saying no, you can't take this time for it.
Yeah.
She was very discreet, so she didn't really
No.
say much, but she gave me a bit of an insight. So I was just reading between the lines, but I think she's having some issues with them.
No worries.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye.